It's a quick and easy way to improve your queen score right now. Some of you hate maths. Luckily enough, for people who hate maths, Luful made a perfectly amazing defense reduction calculator. The difference between having perfect defense down on Yatsufusa versus not is huge. And if you want to score high and stay in those top 10 guilds, then you absolutely need to know how to do this by yourself. I wasn't sure if I wanted to showcase this on my main account, if I wanted to showcase this on A6 queen or an A0 queen. I thought it was tailored towards mostly top guilds who want to score really high with their queen. Even with an A0 queen, you should be doing this, as hitting 0 defense on a boss is very important. So I will break down how this calculator works. They've actually made it in a very good way, very intuitive, and displaying only the information that is necessary. We'll start from top to bottom. Over on the top here, we have defense calculator reduction. This is the title of the article. Okay, when actually above it is the menus. We have a button below here. Show spoilers. This will allow you to see future characters. Okay, if you click right here, it'll list all the different bosses that are in the game right now. What we care about is this one, NTMR Nightmare Yatsufusa. And this can be applied to any other boss, but for Yatsufusa, this is most important. Below, these are the boss's stats. So as you can see, if I change the boss, the stat will be slightly different. Each boss has its own different stat. These numbers, don't worry about them. These numbers are the numbers that we care about. So right now, we're going to work from left to right. We're going to work on the total pierce. And so if you look down below, here is pierce. And here's all the ways that you can get pierce. First thing they say is the revelation pierce total. What that means is, if you go over to your game, to the queen that you're borrowing, or that you have, you go down here and you look at its pierce rate. That would be 7.6. And I will write 7.6. Over here, Elucida Power. How do you find that out? You go over to the navigator you're using, and then on this stat screen, click on this icon, Elucida Skills. This shows you exactly what stats the navigator is transferring. And over here, we have 3. And so that's where we write 3%. You see Vino. If you have the A6, which gives you 8% pierce, going down to Queen. If you have the A2, you're going to take this to give you pierce. This you can leave at 5 stack. It's always going to be 5 stacks. So now it's telling us we have a total of 48.6% pierce rate. Now we move on to the second part. It says defense reduction. Now Luful has already cleverly calculated for us that if we have this amount of pierce rate, this number right here is the amount of defense reduction that we need. So let's go to this tab. So this boss has an innate self-defense reduction of 30% when it has 4 ailments. And you can see when I typed in the 30%, what it did was it says, okay, now I'm 30% out of 157.2 total defense reduced. And you can see here is the amount we still have left to reduce, the final defense coefficient, and you want this number to be 0. In this rotation, we're going to use control and departure. This is a source of defense down that's quite easy to obtain if you have a non-A6 chord. Rokunda is also a free source of defense reduction. Scrolling down, we have Vino. If you have the exclusive weapon, you tick this and you find your refinement. So mine is R0. And then you tick skill 1, tick level 12, or whatever level your skill 1 is. If, however, you have the 4-star weapon, or if you have not enough ailment accuracy to max out the skill 1, which would be 140 ailment accuracy outside of battle and 110 ailment accuracy outside of battle with Okian, you would go here and you would type how much you get. Usually with about 100 ailment accuracy, it's about 25% or 20% defense reduction. So after we tick all of that, if the number you see here is 0, then you're perfect. As you can see, we've achieved 279.7% final damage increase. If I tick another box that adds more defense reduction, as you can see, this number does not change because mathematically, once you have hit 0, that's it. If you are able to, then you can start reducing sources of defense down that you may or may not need. For example, control and departure. But as you can see, if I do lose a lot of final damage, even though it's only 16% coefficient. Why is that? The answer is the closer you are to getting that 0 coefficient, the more this defense down really truly matters. And if this number has not reached 0, then we'll need to find some other ways to get the number to 0. The best way would be to use Yanosek right here. Yanosek giving the mark debuff is another 40%, 41% defense reduction. That puts you to 200. That should get most people over. So Yanosek here will replace Ural using Rebellion. And Norn is a good recommendation for a lot of people with an A0 Queen to use both Norn and Yanosek to reduce the boss's defense down. Arc Knife is a good consideration, but then you will have to completely change the rotation. It synergizes quite well with Norn. So if you attack together with these two, that's a lot of defense reduction together. Some ideas for a A0 Queen. And also another idea for A0 Queen is to use Soy. Soy by himself does, as you can see, if you add all these numbers together, over 100 defense down. But playing with Said Knowledge, we're going to do the run. So turn 1. If you have Phoebe, here's what you do. Attack. Vino S2. And then here Phoebe is going to be up. You're going to use Phoebe. And you're going to target not Queen. And then Queen does S1. You may notice, okay, we got double pulse there with Okean. That's also very good with Okean. So, you may notice that Cord is second, and there's a good reason for that. Okean, we can ignore the skill here, and Rakunda on Wonder. Going to Catchy Hook onto... we're gonna kill this fire minion. Prevents us, Vino, from being knocked out. Vino does S1. Queen does S2. Okay, and if we're running Phoebe, we immediately go here S1 with Phoebe, or US3 with Okean, like so. And then you Vino highlight. Genesis or Revolution. The reason we're doing all that with Phoebe is so that we can manage her drinks. Okay, Core will S2. This will buff Queen for the rest of the duration of the fight. So the highlight was one drink. This S3 is going to be another drink. And this S1 should kill the boss. And that's going to be a third drink. Yolunga, this Rebellion, on Queen, and then this turn you get Phoebe. This turn you should have 3 premium made cocktails, and you can Phoebe S3. Here, and then you pour S1. This applies the control and departure debuff without disrupting the cocktails. Vino S1. Now, Chord highlight onto Queen. Here comes the part where Queen Chord is second. So when you crash out here, Chord's a highlight lasts for 4 turns. So you're going to do 1 S3. That's 1 turn. Okean comes up. Going to S1. But this isn't ideal because I think this turn I don't have pulsating rhythm. I do have pulsating rhythm. Okay, that's good. I have 2 stacks. That's good. Yeah, you want to check that if when queen is attacking that she has pulsating rhythm. So this is second action. Still kind of low. And now queen has ran out of pulsating rhythm. This is the third action. Unfortunately. And now, because chord is second, we can catchy hook onto, and this is still being buffed by chord's highlights. Vino here, we're actually, if you're Okean, you should S3, this does the most damage. Sorry, if you're Phoebe, but if I'm Okean, I'm going to S1 here for the chance to trigger another pulse or get another beat stack from an ailment. As you can see, we got it. Perfect demonstration. We got double as well. Even better demonstration. And then we can Okean S1 again. Now as you can see, we got... Oh wait. Wrong character. So yeah, now we got pulses. That is really good. We can highlight. And we didn't need to reapply Vino's S3. Reason being, he actually still has the debuff. Why? Because breaking him or killing him first phase skips his turn. The debuff stays. Hopefully your damage will be better than this if this is kind of a quite bad score. Unfortunately, this account that I'm playing with only has Okean.